being 5:30, we're going to bring the select board meeting to order and start with the approval of minutes.
Okay, count 5, yes.
Anybody have anything with the minutes? Want to make a motion?
Benny, you have what you have to, you have a copy, put in, get a copy of what time. Get that quick. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from meeting of March 28th.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions, comments? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No one's opposed?
Deliver.
And then our new business, we have swearing in of the newly appointed sergeant.
That's it.
So I will read to you, like you know when you need to read, yeah.
All right.
To Nicholas Shanahan of Franklin, New Hampshire. Whereas there is a vacancy in the position of sergeant for the Ashland Police Department in said town, and whereas we, the subscribers, have the confidence in your ability and your integrity to perform the duties of said office, we do hereby appoint you, the said Nicholas Shanahan, upon your taking the oath of office and having this appointment and a certificate of said oath of office recorded by the town clerk. You shall have the powers, perform the duties, and be subject to the liabilities of such office until another person shall be chosen and qualified in your stead. You may never repeat after me. I, Nicholas Shanahan,
I, Nicholas Shanahan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent
to perform all the duties incumbent
on me as sergeant
on me as sergeant
for the Ashland Police Department,
for the Ashland Police Department,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution
of the Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You are pulling. I need a working comp. There you go, buddy.
Sir,
I just need your signature to make it super official.
you do that.
That's fine right there. Having have at least five.
You?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, you are all set.
Congratulations. Okay, the next thing is the signing of the tax warrant.
Yeah, you guys are all
Thank
set.
you.
Yeah, you don't want to sleep this budget?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Thank
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'll be back. Let's clear up some parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so, Marissa and Ron have been working very hard with the Department of Revenue, and they came up with our new tax rate of $19.19. Which leaves me, with your permission, to collect $4,450,047.38.
Yes, we need a motion
Hey,
to accept tax warrant.
I move we accept the tax warrant.
I'll say, Reese, did you this? Motion and a second. Any more questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nobody opposed?
Fantastic, so I'm gonna set this around and have you sign my copy, please and thank you.
This right here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
The next thing I have, which is the next paper in your packets that I gave to you, is we have two properties where their owners have passed away and no one has claimed their estates. It has been over 3 years. I put a newspaper ad out and no one has responded to it. So if no one has paid on or before the 19th of November, I would like to know if you would like me to go ahead and deed those two properties. The properties are map and lot number 213-010, and the other one is map and lot number 112-018.
How much time have, since the notification went out, have they been looking for next of kin, or do we know all these people?
So I have sent out numerous letters between me and the past tax collector, we've sent out numerous letters
Over what period of time?
over the past 3 years.
Okay.
And the newspaper will have, the ad in the newspaper will officially run for a month on Wednesday.
Okay, so we complied with all the requirements.
Statutory
and
requirements,
notifications.
absolutely.
You actually did another round of notification.
I
Just
did.
to be on the
I did.
safe side.
You've done some extra.
I did, yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Okay. I'll make the motion that we allow the tax deeding on these properties that are still in wait.
I'll second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more comments? Questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Looks good. Give me the sign where your name is on this piece of paper. Please and thank you. Both copies?
No, that's yours to keep.
Because I gave you attached to it, the three things on there. Okay. Yours.
Thank you.
And the last item I have is the notice of intent to excavate. Like timber tax notices, I have to do some checking. I talked to the Department of Revenue, and all that is required of you is that you sign it.
Where is it?
It's the property on West Street.
Okay. Was it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this is.
That's just your copy. I
Right,
have
but then, so basically you put in an application to do this, is that what this is?
It is a piece of paper that says that he has already excavated,
Okay.
and this is his report to the state of New Hampshire.
Okay. Okay. And we're good with this, I'm assuming.
I have,
And
other than the things that I was required to do, I have nothing further to add.
Bible in there, I don't see, you understand? I haven't got worse, so all the things.
So what are we signing? Authorization to allow it? I thought
No,
that-
it is just, it's already
Acknowledging.
occurred, you're just acknowledging that it happened. Which will then allow me to generate a tax warrant for the gravel that he
I see.
has removed.
Yeah.
So you made out this form,
He made out that form.
or he made out the form? Okay, so this is a,
So the United States is within 50 point, what is it, 50?
I muted it.
Thank you. I was confused for a second.
Who else is it?
You love Zoom.
look at, okay,
So he filled out the form.
so he is aware of this and all that, it forget, but he's the,
Yeah, he
Yes,
filled
he's
it out.
the one that filled it out and then presented it to me.
okay. Yeah, so there's this,
Okay, just for us to get
Who
paid.
wants to sign
This
this?
is, yes,
She's got it.
and that will
It's just acknowledged.
allow me to generate
yep,
a gravel bill.
okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we sign the paperwork for the excavation. Recognizing 15, yeah, acknowledge the 15,000 cubic yards that were excavated.
No. Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Okay.
So if you can just sign, sorry, and then date.
And what it should be?
17.
Thank you so much for your time. Awesome, all right. Well, making that first round, making the VA salary double. Right. Make the Tony, that's a guy, Jerry, Larry, Rutgers Drive. The street, the guy is operating on 3 for the 44.
And then are we ready for the budget or should we wait till?
Well, see if you have any old business and then selectmen's item. We don't have a non-public, so.
Okay. So does anybody have any old business? All more selectmen items?
I see.
I have a selectmen item, just a notification to the board that the Economic Development Committee has made a recommendation to this board for the board to publish a request for proposal for a waste management solution. That's the news,
That's the end of the okay. Why direct up?
In fields?
Can we ask questions?
Sure.
When you say made, have you presented it to the board? Or just have it?
In the role of the ex officio to the Economic Development Committee, I need to notify the board of actions taken. And so there was a vote, and that was an action taken by the Economic Development Committee. I want to be sure that all members of the Select Board are aware of that.
Okay. Will there be public discussion on this RFP?
There's no agenda item for that I see.
Okay. So it may be on a future meeting then? Okay.
Yes, because this is the first, and we're here for
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So, put it on the next,
Get it out there.
so you'll carry this with you, they got it.
Good.
Anything else? Okay, now, are we good for the budget
Yeah, we move into the water
or budget?
budget.
Sure.
So if you start on ending in line 110 through essentially 230, those are all salary line items. So some of those are gonna be held on the union contract. I think it was 3%, if I'm not mistaken.
As a placeholder, yeah.
Yep. So that's where we're at on those. Audit, that's your guys' stuff.
Yeah, that's an apportionment of the town audit that gets done every year.
We're gonna go up on legal fees a little bit, line item 310, just to kind of be close to our actuals. A lot of that stuff, since construction in progress, so that gets moved out a lot of times. So I imagine you'll probably do that.
Adrian.
Yeah. Well, isn't it construction in progress, you'd win?
Yes. So engineering fees, you've got your Lane Garrett contract.
And bringing Garrett's in that, there's 2% things in there.
Yeah, so there's a contract that comes out of that line, but Andrew's got a lot of in progress construction going on, as everybody knows. So we pay our fees out of the engineering fees, and then what I do is move out construction in progress as a separate item, because these are things that you've already previously authorized on prior warrants. We just have to book them and then set them on.
Yep.
So
So moving to 320, that's just $1 to keep it active. 331, that's training. We're required to take a certain amount of credits every 2 years. Conveniently, water was a renewal year this year, but it's good to get trained at PIA. And with us looking for a new employee, I think it's good to keep that line kind of where it's at, even though we haven't spent a ton on that this year. 340 is OT. That's an increase, just trying to get closer to actuals over the last 3 years. We haven't been essentially fully staffed since 2024. We had 3 months of fully staffed this year, so that just kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to budget for that OT line for like 2 people.
How many people include?
There should be 3 people, including myself, and in the last 24 months, 20 of those months, we've been understaffed. So
the total,
it's hard to budget for that OT line without that extra person.
so we could just put it, when we're looking at it, was the 110 to 230 and think of it as a labor number. Is that correct?
Yep.
Equal to
342, that's Lake Street Computer. That's just a breakdown of our portion of the contract.
Yeah, so there's gonna be the utility office will do computers, so that's gonna be paid out by each of the utilities. So, you'll see new computers in there. Lakes Regional Computers, our IT company, and Muni Billing is our utility software. We anticipate 3% increase because they've done a 3% increase the last 3 years. And then you put in for some overages in case you do something on.
410's electric. We went a little bit higher on electric this year. It's kind of it's gonna be another placeholder, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
until the rate study's done for the electric department.
Yeah, same with all the other budgets that you've reviewed so far. We're gonna revisit electric once we know those rates.
Yep, 411's a decrease to kind of get close to actuals. We have a new contract, 603 oil for propane as well, so that should help our prices there. 430, it's called Gen, it should be generator. That's just essentially the maintenance on our cat generator at the water plant. And we're anticipating in 2026 doing load bank testing on it, which is essentially ramping it up. And that, I think last time I got a quote for that was around $1,500, so essentially $1,000 just for maintenance. 431's distribution maintenance. That's been a pretty decent number for us over the last few years. This year we've overextended a little bit, but as you know, we've had a lot of construction, which required a lot of parts and pieces. 432 is meter maintenance. I talked to our salesman for that, and typically they do increases in April, and typically they've been around like 5%. So this line will eventually settle out a little bit after we complete the meter project. Right now, we're just trying to get through replacing all of our older meters. So that's kind of why that's a little bit higher than it would be if we're just kind of maintaining what we have.
And just a quick question, so it helped to be, we were like, this is the labor, and then would you say all this up to now is more or less in one category? Because
I'm so sorry, can you just,
you were trying to like kind of roll up your budget to a couple
Yep.
of buckets so that the little
Yeah,
kids
so,
can understand it. How far down would you go? Like, would you go all the way to?
I would essentially go from 342, which is computer,
Yep.
and go down. Something else besides like training and engineering. Well, I guess engineering fees is a sort of labor as well. But anything above that, I would call labor for us.
Which one?
Call it 440 and up.
440.
Water OT.
Thanks.
It's kind of jumbled too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different pieces. I don't know. Those are DRA numbers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, those are set numbers.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just saying like vehicle maintenance and auto property insurance, like that's a different category than
Yeah. And like,
the meters.
yeah, like the generator maintenance
Yep.
would be probably more less similar to like vehicle maintenance, but like they're on completely different ends of the bucket. 434, that's our annual software fee. Should be getting that next month in December, and that's pretty consistent as long as we don't go over. It's based off how many meters we have in stock or installed, I guess. So the more we have, the higher the fee is of the year. Vehicle maintenance, keeping that line the same. It's been pretty good for us for the most part. So 483 to 486, that's more or less labor stuff to disability insurance, life insurance. I think those are all determined by private center providers.
Yep. So,
So that's more labor.
Yeah, it's part of your labor.
Yeah, because I didn't understand that 78% claims for 2025 that contributes to increase, like,
so
That was safe.
Primex does,
that's what Primex says.
Primex is our insurance carrier, and they set the rates, and what they do for breakdown in order to determine how much is water responsibility, how much is sewer responsibility, and how much is electric, and so on and so forth. They give you kind of a formula, so I left it in there because it's the same representation, because we're all affected by Primex, it's just distributed differently. So that's 77.9%. You're gonna end up seeing the big increase on the electric side, for when, whatever we wanna
Substation.
call it, substation, thank you. So that's from the substation claims. So we had a large increase, but it didn't affect water and sewer. So water and sewer is essentially stayed flat.
Sure. 491 is phone and fiber. That's a split with sewer. I believe that's the reason for the decrease there. Printing 550. That's just for us to print our CCRs. That's a pretty good number for that. Dues, those are split with sewer, and this is water's portion. We belong to a number of associations, so that's what that portion is. General expense, I think we've always had just a $500 general expense line under 610. 620 office supplies, that is also split with sewer, and then decrease on that, just to get a little bit closer to our actuals.
I had a question on that one. I looked at the sewer, the total between the two offices was only $1,500.
Oh,
So
so I think
we
some
both
of,
have it budgeted, I think we're about the same, so it seemed like might be able to tighten that up a little bit.
say more if we can. A lot of that, I believe, is like paper and toner for the lady kind of office.
Yeah, so this is more affects like the utility office than anything, so we do a third to water, sewer, and electric. So we did drop it from 2,000 to 1,500. You'll also see coming up here, I've revised the postage lines because so many people are getting emailed bills now that we've actually cut down on our postage and printing, but postage still rises. So we're testing that new number in this new budget. And office equipment split with sewer, we have shared office equipment, so everybody gets a little charge to that from the utility bucket.
So moving to 635 fuel, we're going to decrease that. Like I said, we have a contract now with 603. We're involved with the school system, the whole town is. So hopefully we can get better fuel prices. Moving to 640. Building maintenance, I was gonna do a mini split in that building this year, but we got a really good price on an analyzer that was almost 20 years old. So it was better to replace that now while we lock in that lower price. So this is the cost of putting that mini split in so we can have AC and heating. Mostly we'll be using it for dehumidifying to be able to analyze just running in there constantly. And obviously, you're analyzing water, so it can be kind of humid in there. And in that building, there's VFDs and all types of electronics that we want to try to keep safe. 721 is tower maintenance. We put a little bit of money into that this year. We had our diving crew in there, and I think that was the 3,000 roughly. And then we put some money into the road as well. So we're going to lower that this year because we fixed some of the issues with the road. Corrosion, that's a pretty good number. We've overextended a little bit, but I think some of that might be the whole purchase order scenario.
So with the new system, when we put in purchase orders, it holds it as an expenditure until we release it. So it looks like it's overexpended, but I think it's actually at 19.9.
Yeah.
When I looked at it.
Yep. And we recently got an order, so that should be a pretty decent number for the rest of the year as well.
Yep.
New equipment, we kind of keep $2,500 as a placeholder in case we need to replace anything. Pumps and stuff like that, and hand tools, will get kind of expensive pretty quick. Lab supplies, 741. That's the case for essentially all our lab analyzing and sampling that we do, and that has been pretty historically a good number. 742 is hydrant equipment. That we use to purchase essentially 2 hydrants every year. That's kind of the goal, is to replace a couple of them that are aging. Eventually that'll be another line, kind of like meter maintenance, where you're just keeping up with the hydrants you have now. We haven't purchased our order. We haven't done an order yet for those. We used two of them on Thompson Street this year. So I'll have to buy those before the end of the year.
So how many hydrants do you think you have to replace?
So it's tough because the Thompson Street project will eliminate some of those. So if those are roped in with that project, we won't be the ones physically replacing them. Highland Street, there's a few. Collins Street, there's a few. There's probably, I was guessing, minus the ones on Thompson, 5 to 6. So in 2 or 3 years, that line should just essentially be maintenance.
Okay.
Service main, that is used to pay essentially for service brass. Some of that is offset when we have new construction. We obviously have to buy the service brass for the new construction, but that's part of the fees that are tacked onto those bills. Testing devices, those are used for testing backflow devices. We have staff that are certified to do it, but there are certain ones that we won't touch, like fire suppression. We hire that out. It's just too much of a liability for our department to do it. Alarms, that's a decrease to get close to actuals. So grants, 800, what you probably have in front of you. I found out today that we were actually awarded $30,000 in grant funding to look for an alternative tank site and do some preliminary engineering on it. So that line will actually be 15,000 because they will give us 30,000. We need to match half of it for a total project of 45,000. So that's the grant match portion.
So we just got a grant for 30,000,
Yep, I found it this morning.
the total is 45?
Sustainability grant?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's going to be used for finding alternative tank source. But like I said, they require, it's kind of a weird matching system. So they require you to match 50%, but the total project is 45. So that's what the 15 will be for. You'll see in the next one. You're probably like, what's this?
So is that line changing?
Yes.
Like I said, I just found out this morning. So $15,000 will be added to it as the matching portion.
Oh,
Yeah, where it says 25, so we had a similar situation where we got a grant this year. Rate put in 25 for it. That'll now be replaced with 15.
Yeah.
We just didn't know when the date about it.
Yep.
so the water grants line should be 15?
It should be 15.
Okay.
Because like I said, we just got, and that's going to be the matching portion.
No doubt.
And just similar question, this was a question I was going to ask you, where it's coming in, it's just me being new and not understanding. So if I put 731 down to 745, that's all basically the stuff you need to do the jobs, right? It's not the building maintenance, just actually all the water treatment, surveys, materials, water supply, I should say, service materials. Just 731.
731.
And then I would say grants are separate, right?
Yeah. Like I say, it's kind of hard to. I wouldn't say that statement's accurate, but it's kind of like I said, it's kind of hard because they're all mixed in differently with different numbers based off DRA numbers.
Okay.
So like I said, I don't want to mislead you in saying that's true.
I'm trying to understand the trends.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, I'll sort that out.
Okay.
Great.
And 039 water wells. So that was something we were going to do this year. We were going to rehab the pump and motor on well 2 as a recommended thing to do based off our last well inspection. I'm waiting on a few things to see if we're going to be able to encumber that for next year. But if for some reason we can't, I highly recommend putting the funds away to do that next year.
So if you can encumber it,
That'll be okay.
they'll be zero?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be 1,800.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry, 1,800, that's what the cost is.
So 15,200 will come out.
So it'll be 1,800.
Yes.
If you can do what?
The rehab on the wells was planned for this year. But we have to kind of work on something first before we can say yes. So in the event that we can't do at this point, we won't be able to schedule them anyway.
Yeah.
So we're gonna most likely end up encumbering those funds into next year, which means it would drop off of this budget.
Okay, so, but because you have the funds now, you just,
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Like I said, with Thompson Street and the construction we had to do up there, that kind of wasn't a planned thing. Luckily, we were able to do it with the funds on hand and a few other lines in our budget. So,
So will we get revised figures for the?
I'm assuming for the next.
Before it's voted on, they'll be revised, because we'll have that answered.
So moving on to sewer,
Can,
essentially the same thing. Starting on 110 through 230, those are all labor items. Some of it's controlled by the collective bargaining agreement and insurance. Audit, kind of the same thing as water. Engineering fees, that typically, kind of the same thing. We work with Underwood quite a bit to do our engineering, and if that's, we have to do any piping lining or anything like that, they need to engineer it and do it in that line. Training workshops, same thing as water. Sewer is different. Sewer is based off when you got your license. So water, conveniently, it's going to be the same for every single operator in the state of New Hampshire. Sewer is just dependent on when you got your license, is when your renewal is. So that's been kind of a good line for us. Like I said, we haven't used a lot of it this year, but like I said, I'm hopefully getting another employee to replace the vacancy. OT, kind of the same thing as water, that is a 3-year kind of average. Like
331 and 340 goes into the labor bucket.
yeah, well, yeah.
You,
Lake Street Computer kind of is 342. 390, that's used for our SCADA contract. So that essentially helps us automate and get our flow numbers at the sewer plant. 397, that's used for sampling and testing our lagoons. This year, there was some pretty heavy expenses required with at the end of our current permit, we were required to do PFAS testing in every single one of our cells. And every single PFAS test was like $400 roughly, so they can get real expensive real quick. Monitoring wells, that's been a pretty good line item for us too. I should be getting a bill for that because they just came this fall and sampled, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So that 1,500 doesn't.
No, that doesn't reflect that. I'm gonna get another bill for that too. So, electric is gonna be the big one. We recently got a multiplier put on our electric meter. I'm not an electric guy, so I don't know what it is, but it dramatically increased our electric bill every month.
because we're using more or we're measuring that? And
I
that's been
So-
$30,000 for like 4 or 5 years.
so when they went out to do, because we've been doing this meter replacement project, there are, what do we call them, the 3-phase meters?
demand.
Demand meters, 3-phase.
Well, yeah, it's
So,
got a current transformer on it. So you put the multiplier on there.
yeah, so Andrew had a multiplier that was much lower before the change out. When it got changed out, it went from
80 to 320?
I don't know. I can't
You
tell
were
you that
not
yet.
here.
I wasn't there then.
I know it's 320 now. Again, we're hoping to revise that. We will revise that with the new electric rates.
So you're expecting that's gonna go down with the new electric?
I hope so.
We all hope so. We all hope so.
Yeah.
Come on.
So 430, that's our generator maintenance line. That generator is original to the sewer plant, so it's from, I think, 67. So we've been limping along, and when stuff goes on that, it's very difficult to get parts for. But we're going through a treatment plant upgrade next year. We'll probably be bidding it out this winter. So I'm really trying not to put money into something I know is going to be replaced very soon, hopefully. So that's what the decrease was for. And similar to that is line item 432. We're going to be going through a plant upgrade, so I'm trying to avoid putting money into those blowers that will eventually be replaced. So that's why there's a decrease in that line. Internet cables been pretty consistent for the most part. Vehicle maintenance been a pretty decent line, so that's staying. 483, which is property and auto, down to essentially 486, which is life insurance. Those are all based off the contract, I believe, right? That we have.
It's a property, auto liability, workers' comp. Those are Primex, and then disability insurance and life insurance is the benefit that the town puts in for was. So that's just actual stuff.
Yep.
So all that can go as labor too, right?
Yep. 491, we're trying to get close to our actuals. Could we use Consolidated for a lot of our pump stations, and I'm assuming they're
Yeah,
ready to increase.
so there's a thing with copper lines, and Andrew's pump houses
Yeah.
are all copper lines. So because they don't want people to have copper lines anymore, they charge you a lot more. But we have an issue with that. We can't get cell service out at most of those locations. So going to the cellular route may or may not work. So that's a more accurate depiction of telephone and fiber. But I'm still working on solutions to this copper line problem.
Yep. 510's uniforms, that's part of the CBA as well. Like I said, we've only had this year the third employee for 4 months. That's why that line's a little bit lower than it should be. Dues similar to water that are split. There's some sewer organizations that we belong to that give us better deals on training if we are part of their organization. General expense, that's the same thing as water, it's just a blanket $500. Building repair and upgrades, that's just a decrease to get kind of closer to actuals. Office supplies, office equipment, and postage are all determined based off the utility office. And I'm assuming the split too?
Yep.
635, which is fuel. That's a decrease, trying to get, like I say, closer and closer to actual spent. Um, 636 is heating oil. That should just be called heating, because that's what we use for propane at the wastewater plants. Sewer collection system, that's going to be a pretty good line for us. We had a lot of work done this year, especially with the paving that Craig's done as a paving that the state did. It requires quite a lot of risers, which are incredibly expensive.
What number was that again?
640.
340.
640.
Right.
Collection system.
Okay. Second one, David. It would be nice. Those come. Okay.
650 is sewer and grounds. That's been a pretty consistent line for us. It'd be nice to actually repair our Lagoon Road, but like I said, we're going to have a treatment plant upgrade next year, so I don't really want to pave a road that they're going to tear up when they do the job. So hopefully we can do that near the end of next year, or reclaim the roads before they come. 720, that's station maintenance. That line, I'm just about to give the billing department a $3,500 bill for the cleaning of our wet wells. So the current year number for that is going to increase by quite a bit. So typically, I've been trying to replace the soft starters in those stations. 2 out of the 3 have at least one new one. The third one doesn't. So that's what I'd like to do next year.
Should it stay at 12?
Yeah, like I said, and that allows us to clean them every year like they should be, suck the grit out of them.
Team for a minute.
721, like I said, that's just a decrease, trying to get closer and closer to the actuals. That is essentially used for the treatment side of the plant. So anything like chemicals are very expensive. Any repairs on our pumps, aeration system, it's all aging equipment down there, hence their need for the upgrade.
Well, you're right now, you're showing like $11,000 on the budget. Is that still enough?
I have 14,
It's 14,844 as of today.
yeah,
Okay.
and I'm budgeting 20.
So, okay.
Next line, 740, that's new equipment. So in that line, it's gonna be an auto, and replace our auto sampler, for our composite sampling. It's quite old and it's been hit by lightning a few times, so as you can imagine, it's not in the best of shape, and that's a requirement in our NEPD's permit to have it. It sits in the building out in the middle of the lagoon, so it's kind of exposed to the elements and prone to lightning strikes. The outline also includes replacing our old lagoon boat we used to service the aeration lines. The one we have now is incredibly old and in bad shape, and nobody wants to go swimming in that. And the other item would be to split costs with DPW to bid a trailer for the new lights we just bought. Traffic lights. 741. I said that's trying to get to actuals, lowering that a little bit. Like I said, we're pretty good on that line item, but we're actually getting a new permit come February, so that's going to require us to do a little bit more sampling. And if we need to run the plant, essentially discharge 24/7, that will be more sampling and more labor on that line. 743's PPE. So it's been pretty consistent. I'm going to have to get some new cal gas next year for our gas meter and get it recalibrated. Sewer alarms, that's a decrease. Try to get closer to actuals. I think there's one more bill I should have from that this year. Sewer grants, that's just $1 to leave the historical line. I think everything else. Oh, yeah, sorry, yep. So everything else until you get to such receiving, which is 2611. That's kind of a decrease in power, just kind of get closer to our actuals there.
Wait, hold on, 26 plus the one.
So, we've got sewer bond principal and interest, which is what the septic receiving station.
Yep, so, yes.
And then,
So that whole thing, those basically from 986 to,
so just 986 to 987 are bonds. And then 20, 113 through 2230. Andrew and I are really trying to nail down how much septic receiving costs. So last year we came up with a formula to take water and sewer, and you see this on the salary line. Instead of doing 50-50, we're starting to do 40, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
So that septic receiving is assuming some of that liability. We're trying to paint a truer picture of how much does septic receiving facility cost us and how much does sewer actually cost us. So that's what those lines are.
the 113, something.
So 2113 through 2230. And then Andrew was just talking about septic receiving power, which is 611.
Okay, right, so that was where you just, and I'm just slower than you, sorry. So those 5 lines are labor that can go back up to the top. And then the septic receiving power, that's just can go with the other power.
Yeah.
Shared is. I just didn't understand the salary. So 45,000 is going with the other.
Yeah, so like that's, like I said, that's the essentially split of like what there's a labor cost for what we're doing in there. You have people going there all the time, so that is essentially reflecting our labor in that building.
And the reason why they're at zero is if I move those at the end of the year, our payroll servicers, I'm not splitting all the lines. So right now it's sitting at zero. I was working on that today, moving things over from January to October. Okay, great, thank you. I just done. Okay.
So 611, it's just a decrease, try to get, that's a newer building, so we haven't had a ton of historical data on it, so that's just, like I said, nailing down closer and closer to what we're actually expending over there.
That's just the power.
611, yeah, just in that one specific building, no. So between that building and our aeration and operations building, it's almost $100,000 larger per year.
That's what I'm.
612 decrease, I actually have an invoice for that too. We're using 603 oil for our diesel and that generator. The tough one to nail down is gonna be 613. So that is our screening disposal, so grit, rags, anything coming from town, anything from our septic haulers, and that is offset by hauler fees. So it's, you're kind of estimating how much your hauler is going to come as. They're private businesses, they can decide to go somewhere else. So this is just trying to get closer to the actual number. And this year, we've taken in quite a bit of septage. And that's a really good thing that it's not a good thing that's costing us a lot. It's a good thing that we're removing all those rags, grit from the lagoons.
Yes.
So that's a, like I said, trying to get closer to what we've actually spent there. So 614, that's a decrease. We've spent some money in that building this year to replace the screens on the outside of the station. So hopefully we're not going to have to do that this year, obviously. So that was 614. 615, that's used to replace any damaged equipment. So inside of that building takes a beating because of hydrated sulfide gas, so it's pretty rough in there. So this will allow us to replace anything that we need to, hopefully. It's kind of just we say it's a guess, but we have historically have expenditures out there, and this line kind of reflects that. Kind of the same thing on 616. That's the building repair line, the physical building itself. Like I said, H2S gas is pretty rough on like garage door openers, for example. If we have to replace those with explosion-proof garage door openers, they're expensive. And they'll probably have to be replaced next year. So septic receiving office supplies, that essentially allows us to buy 3 carbon slips for our septic haulers. So the more septic we take in, obviously the more slips we're going to have to buy. So that's what that line's for.
The rest of them are bonds.
And the rest of them are bonds.
Bonds and interest.
Yep.
Which is a little more than 20% of the operating budget of the sewer department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of them is gonna be done next year, which is nice, so coming off. But overall, the budget is down 3.5%.
Yep.
So quick question, the sewer electric, is that a payable to Ashland Electric?
Yep.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Just which line is that sewer electric taking from?
So including septic receiving, or just the, 'cause I have 2 electric lines.
Sewer electric ends in 410. It's on cheap.
I'm losing like from bottom.
And also 611.
Yeah.
2011.
Say it, I'm sorry, which one? Sewer.
So on page 2, second one from the bottom,
Yeah.
ending in 410, that's sewer electric. And then on
perfect.
page 4,
Yep, I'm not found it. Put this here, just go on them.
oh, you do have it.
2611 at the almost second to last item.
Yeah.
That's fun.
You know why we call it that?
I don't know. Yeah, the 12. Yep. of those. So 65 and 12 is like 77,000 of electricity.
Yeah, and I think that's 65, like a conservative, low
Oh,
estimate.
right, we don't know that yet, so, got it.
Trying.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Andrew, where are we in terms of the long-term plan for water and sewer? Do we know, what's the total outstanding bonds right now?
But it was like 20%, so.
Uh,
Are you talking about outstanding bills?
Bonds.
Oh,
What-
bonds.
Like yearly amount or like the balance of
The
all?
balance of all outstanding.
I don't have that answer on hand for me, but I can get that for you. Because he's got bonds that go out until 2039.
Yeah, we have one from 2019 that, like I said, just started. It's the septic receiving building.
That's one that goes to
I'll say that was like
$2039.
$2.5 million
Yeah.
alone.
I guess the question is, are we planning to retire the number of bonds in the future and replace the funding from internal sources? Do we see additional bonds in the near future? Could you just comment on that long-term horizon?
Yeah, so I guess we're doing actually our asset management plan right now. We got a grant for last year, and part of that is like long-term funding strategies. We have some new asset management software that's really great. The only thing that's not great is it shows you when you want to do all these projects, they come at a cost. So if it's including the sewer side, you're gonna run into septic receiving essentially makes up 67% of the revenue the department takes in. That septic receiving has a cost. Not necessarily all you're seeing here. There's sludge in those lagoons. Those will eventually need to be cleaned. So that's always the toughest thing to kind of make people understand is, yes, we're taking in all this money now, but there's a monstrous expense at the end of it all.
Okay, so we are preparing for that in terms of
Yeah,
the
so
rates.
like I said, the septic receiving is kind of a hard thing to judge because you're relying on individual businesses. And those individual businesses could decide to go somewhere else. Or something could happen where we can't take those individual businesses anymore. And like I said, the ratepayers only make up 33% of what we take in and what we need. So that's kind of what we're looking at with this new asset management software and going through the motions on that side.
But is the intent to reduce the total amount of bonds and going forward and pay for it out of current revenue?
Yeah, that'd be the ultimate goal if you have enough cash on hand, but.
Well, I mean, is that in the plan? Because, I mean, the bonds, I mean, they sound great, and I know, we use them when we have to use them because we need to fix things, but, I mean, we're paying interest on those bonds.
So those bonds are for projects that were previously authorized.
Understood.
Yeah, so I would say to kind of answer your question, the town's already authorized a $5 million bond that we have not started repayment. The town has already authorized a $6.2 million bond that we're not in repayment. So basically, 2 of these bonds are going to drop off in the next 2 years. One is notated, and then the next one is the one above it.
Oh,
Really
sorry.
can't see. But 2 of them will come to an end, but essentially will be replaced within the next few years with a much higher bond
Yeah.
because of projects that are already authorized.
Okay, I get that strategy, but, when
what
do we
Andrew's
wean
getting at-
ourselves off of bonds and
Yeah.
use
Obviously,
revenue accounts?
obviously the best thing to do would be to pay it all in cash if you could.
Yeah.
I can't think of any towns that do that is the issue.
Yeah,
I said
but over the next 10 years or, 15 years, you need to start retiring bonds and maybe, 10 years from now, maybe we don't
Yeah.
have to replace it.
Yeah.
Because we're funding it out of current revenue.
So what Andrew's talking about with the asset management program, and right now it's just on the water side.
Just on the water
But we
side.
will be getting to the sewer side. But the water side, what it does is you can kind of use it as a way to move out your projects if it's something that you can move out. Like I know we have some that we're not gonna be able to move out. But you can start to plan for that to try to level things.
Yeah.
But I don't know if within the next 10 years you're going to have enough cash on hand to offset these major projects.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to guess that we're going to go for maximum terms on the bonds for
Yeah.
the current projects.
Okay, do we have a line item for how much interest we're paying?
So each of them are actually broken out because there's so many bonds.
Yep. So I think into interest on those bonds. correct?
Yes, plus the one with them up.
Yep.
So,
So you're,
but the interest is low. I mean, we locked in a lot of these things at 2%. The two with the highest are 3.99, and that one of them is the 2026 ending, and then the one right above it, water system bond, that one's sunsetting in 2027. So those two have the highest interest rate at 3.99, and they're coming to an end. Andrew and I are actually looking to see if we can pay them off early.
yeah. Just so you know, I figured out what we're taking in for user fees and septage. And between user fees and septage, we take in just under $900,000. And with our budget, that leaves essentially, if we spent every single penny of our budget, it would leave just over $100,000. So you can imagine $5 million project, it's not happening. Like, you're not going to be able to pay for it in cash. So I'm just trying to answer your question the best I can.
But if you say what's the end of the fund balance,
Um,
use it piece of the septic.
So, like, just on user fees, the septic is $881,000 roughly. That's prorated based off last year's numbers for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's if we spent every single dollar of our budget.
Thank you for that.
Can I ask one question?
Take it.
Just,
I thought that was a good question. And one of the things that I think you're gonna end up getting to is when you're using your asset management tool, I'm assuming it's gonna be able to tell you over the next 10 years, here's the things that have to be replaced and what the approximate cost is.
Yeah.
So if you know what your current bonds are and when they're gonna be over, and what your new projects are and what the anticipated costs are gonna be, then you could do a spreadsheet that says over the next 10 or 12 years, here's what we expect to have in long-term payments. And then you do that with water, sewer, electric does that, the town does that. Then you can see a picture of what it looks like over the next 10 or 12 years for those long-term costs.
That's exactly what we're trying to get.
Yeah.
at.
That's perfect.
I
yeah.
want to say we're doing 25-year outlook as of right now.
I think that's correct, yeah, so that's why, so Andrew getting this grant for this year was really instrumental in us getting to that piece on the water side. We're pursuing one for sewer as well, correct?
Yeah, I believe part of, I believe we're using the software on the sewer side too, but it's essentially a water grant that we got.
Yeah.
But we're kind of, the software can be used for, I think, water, sewer, electric, and municipal as well.
So what it does that's really cool is helping to plan out the assets. We'll end up putting your life cycle in.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can also layer on and look at rates and how are we gonna have to affect rates to cope with this?
To cope with, sure.
And how much are we setting aside out of our policies that we have to put
Yeah.
in? And you can actually extrapolate out your budget.
Right.
So it's a really great tool, but it's, it takes time to get that up and
For sure,
running.
yeah.
But that's what we're working on, is doing that for water now. Sewer will be coming next.
Yep.
Some electric things. We're working on that as well.
Thank you.
Jake? Hey, Karen. So, and then that's rolling, but is electric.
Right, well, I'll go over this best I can. I've been going through it a little bit. I think the first page is really salaries and everything. Anybody got any questions?
it's second line though, we got supplies.
Oh, yeah, so there's,
We have one.
yeah, there's supplies on there. So that's like supplies for the line workers and stuff, the equipment that goes on the poles and things of that sort. But other than that, everything else is salary related on that first page. So you'll see line 2, the electric supplies, we kept it about the same.
Frank, I had a question on the FICA. The salaries, the wages were going up kind of like we've seen.
Yeah.
But it looked like the FICA went way up. I just wondering why that would increase seem more than the others.
Or 42 from the
Yeah,
actual.
it's like 99.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Kendall will remember this too from last year. There was a lot of changes to the budgets back and forth. So I think that's a miscalculation.
Oh, okay.
Old number. The new software, what I went through and did was added that actual multiplier onto everyone's salaries, and that's generated from those lines. So this 2026 is the correct amount.
Okay. Okay. Instead of 42.
42 is the correct amount.
Okay, so what's 26 to 35?
Sounds good.
So 2026 under that department headline is the 42,337.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So that's the correct number.
Okay.
Okay, so the next ones are health insurance, Medicare retirement. That's all just locked into salaries. The audit,
Yeah, that's just their apportionment of the
yeah,
audit.
that's our portion of the audit. So legal, same thing. I think we cut that legal line down.
We did, we
You'll
had
see
a
the 10
case,
grand.
yeah, we had a case that was open at the beginning of the year that's been resolved. So for next year, we decreased that. That case is ends and closed.
Background checks, we're gonna keep the same in case we get some new employees. The training, I think it's gone over a little bit this time. I can't tell you why, but it's probably, some of the things have gone up for where we send our guys to get trained. So I think that's gone up, but I think Marissa nailed down what we think the increases are gonna be this year.
I reached out to NEPA,
So-
which is where the guys go to get trained. And I've asked them for an actual number. I think it went over this year because we brought in a lineman that needed another course. I'm gonna say it that
Yeah,
way,
well-
makes sense, right?
We have one going currently, but I'm not sure that reflected an increase.
No, there was additional person
Who?
that,
What, Paul went in? Paul had to
Yeah,
go?
he had to finish a class, so we went
Okay.
over unanticipated
Yeah.
for that person.
Okay. So that's training we provide for our linesmen. The computers, so we're gonna do some new computers, right?
Yep, you're part of the new computers.
Same thing. Dispatch is the people, when you have an outage, you call them and they call us out for an outage. So that's gone up a little bit, $2,700. Equipment maintenance, this is maintenance on all our equipment that we have, whether it's chainsaws and other power equipment, things of that sort, the bucket trucks, anything like that. So you see, we should be able to hold the line on some of that stuff. And some of our other equipment, like you see in the substations that need to be maintained. So I think that'll be adequate. Vehicle maintenance is what it is, it's vehicles. Just to do oil changes, tires, general repairs.
Why was your actual is 36, why were you seeing an increase up to 9?
Well, it's just because, oh, wait a minute, why did we go up to that?
Tires.
Oh, we have to buy tires, right, for one of the trucks. And it's very,
Expensive tires.
They
that's
are.
right. So we gotta buy a whole set of tires for one of the trucks.
I think back on your, oh, where's, the 30,000.
Stop.
Computer. One of the important things under that equipment maintenance is their safety gear, like their gloves, if they suspect they get a puncture, they have to get sent out and get tested.
And those go out like every other month to get tested for pinholes. It's very important, there's no pinholes in those things. The liability insurance, I can't tell you much about that, why it's
So,
set where it is, but Marissa might be able to.
yeah, so this, going back to when we were talking about in Andrew's budget, the big claim that shot up our rates was due to the electric substation. So we assessed that apportionment to the electric department. And that's why it's up quite a bit.
So we're gonna pay that whatever that is, $24,000 a year going forward.
I don't know what the rates will be every year. Sometimes Primex has, sometimes they go down, sometimes they don't. So I can't predict what Primex is going to do, but they're our insurance carrier. But our total premium is $122,000 across all of the budgets.
That's for all the exposures.
Yeah. So, but I can't answer that question. Primex is the powers that be. Same with workers' insurance. Again, they base this off of payroll. And workers' comp in general went up 41.6%. So that's apportioned out to them. That's why that also shot out. And then liability and life insurance, that's a benefit through our health insurance that we pay for the employees. Which short-term disability went up 5.5%, life insurance stayed the same. Telephone and fiber, so I've told you guys I've been working on trying to consolidate vendors and get the costs down, but it's still something that we have to work on through the next year. We still have copper lines in that building that actually deal with DPW and electric. So that's something that I've decreased a little bit, but hopefully next year we can get that all settled and it'll decrease a lot more for 27. Dues, that's for NEPA,
that's
New England Power, is it Power?
Yeah, NEPA, that's actually our mutual aid, so if we have a catastrophic, something happens in town and and it's happened before, actually. We had a big storm come through and we had lines out on Smith Hill and we had lines down on Levitt Hill, so we had to call in mutual aid to help. And they'll come in and help us. So that's part of our mutual aid, just like the fire department would have mutual aid. So we have to pay for that membership. So that's part of that. Line clearance is $40,000. We kept it the same. The guys are gonna go out, I want everybody to know, they're gonna go out and start trimming lines themselves. I don't know what that's gonna be, so we left it the same. Our trucks are limited to, if you ever seen our trucks, their boom can only go like this. They can't go over the top and reach out. That's how they are, that's how they're built. So we can only reach to the edge of the road and maybe 10 feet beyond it. So that when we hire the guys out to do line trimming, they're doing the poles that are way off the road. There's a lot of that stuff on Owl Brook, and our guys just can't get to it. But we are gonna start doing line trimming, I want everybody to know that. We're gonna start doing in-town line trimming, and a lot more of this on our own. They're not just gonna be, so I expect this line to go down. I don't have a good feeling about what it's gonna be this year yet, but I'd like to keep it the same as what it is until I get a good handle on it. But we will be doing line trimming going forwards, where they hadn't done much in the past. We relied on outside services to do it. And the guys know that and they're okay with it. Substation maintenance, I think we ought to keep it the same, although we should see this go down a lot next year because if everything goes good, we'll have a brand new substation. So next year we should be able to cut that that way down because it's gonna be brand new and we'll just have to do the required maintenance on it. But right now we need to, just in case something happens, keep that up there, I think.
Craig, I know that one of the things that was in that presentation on the bond was trying to do more work and preventive maintenance and things like that on the substation.
Yeah.
Is that thinking reflected in this to be able
well,
to spend more time to try to keep that path in again?
Yeah, so the guys are doing it now and we're gonna start having these things tested because I don't think, to be honest with you, that they hired anybody in to check these things.
Right.
And the guys aren't qualified to do that work, so we have to get people like Eaton and PLM Engineering and have them do that kind of testing. That's what they specialize in.
Now, would that be under this line item?
Yes, that would be under this line item.
Yeah, so
Maintenance of it.
maybe it
Yes,
might not be
preventative
quite
maintenance
as
too,
much.
yeah.
To add to that, we also have, we will be sending 2 of our linemen to get trained in substation maintenance. We're just waiting for the class, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't been scheduled. And to that, we also are gonna get an operations manual when we do the substation rebuild. So there'll be 2 things to help monitor this, to
Yeah,
avoid
and-
going forward.
To have that training, some of that equipment's so old down there, they probably don't even train on our equipment.
No, they'll
So-
have training on the new substation.
The new stuff. So the guys, I've been in there with them, the guys that come in, they're like, whoa, this is pretty old. You know, they've never seen it, so it takes them a while to get up to speed. These guys from Eaton that deals with it all the time. So our stuff is out of the 50s and 60s down there, so. But they'll be trained to do it going forward, so I expect this line to just drop down to preventative maintenance in the just next year's budget.
So when will the substation be new?
Well, I asked the guys, so we haven't met with, but we will. I think they'll probably have it done by next summer sometime. But we haven't even got the money yet, so I can't. It's a fairly small substation, so I would say it's probably, once they start, maybe a 5 or 6 month project.
Do you recommend that homeowners tune up their home generators for this
No, I
year,
think
or-
it'll be good. I think everything will be running the way what I'm told is there'll be a switch and you won't even notice. One will go on and one will go off.
Yeah, the plan is to maintain current while they build out the new, and then switch
I
over.
think Charlie meant until it's
The
built.
reliability, the reliability.
No, I think we're pretty good down there. The guys are checking, just walking through our substation, you can hear it. And every day you walk through and you hear something different, there could be something's failing. And I've heard it before. The guys have brought me down back. Last time I ran the electric department, they're like, here, can you hear that ticking noise? Yeah, we gotta replace that right there. And I'm like, okay, let's get on it. So they're doing frequent walkthroughs. They weren't doing that before, but they're doing it now. So we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again.
When do we expect to have financing for the substation?
Maybe Ron can help you see that.
So, stay tuned. We have to correct the deficiency, then we can move ahead with the loan.
Sounds great.
So there was a newspaper article that was not published, advertised in a meeting. So we have to do a corrective meeting. So there'll be more on that for the next meeting.
Yeah.
It's still in the works. We're going for the finance, and it's just, we need to correct that deficiency.
That moves us on to poles, so throughout the year, you'll see our guys changing poles. There's still some poles that need to be replaced, so, talking with the foreman, we need another 20 grand to keep our poles. So we'll have to keep buying poles and taking the old ones out, putting the new ones in. So that's gonna stay the same. Electric uniforms is by the contract, the collective bargaining contract. Office supplies is the same thing as for the girls in the office. Office equipment, maybe Marissa could, are we doing something new with that?
So that's, we have a leased postage machine which gets, apportioned out to water and sewer. We are gonna try to get an additional folding machine down there in case the one that we have no longer lets us use it. And electric has the most bills, so, that's it's kind of just for that office. We may have to get a new postage machine, I'm not sure.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the lease on that. So we dropped it a little bit, but
not entirely sure what's going to look like.
Yeah, so same with the postage, we dropped that a little bit.
Yeah, based off
Like
of how
Marissa
much we've been
said,
using.
some people are paying online now, right? So
Yeah,
that drops that line a little bit. So we'll keep continuing to, more people pay online, the less postage we'll need. Ads is just what that, it's for an ad if we have to put something out. Fuels,
We're going to redo the yellow book, right?
yeah, there's a little
That's where
booklet. Yeah, there's a little booklet we hand out for new customers that specifies our requirements to them, so I think we're running out of them, and then needs some updates needed for that book, so there'll be a cost in republishing that book as well.
45 available for it, fun, Joe, but
Fuel is just fuel for the vehicles. We still got 2 months left on our, so that, who knows what that's gonna be. It probably can go down a little bit next year, but we left it at 11. Physicals, that looks like it's right. We never know when we're gonna need to do a physical. Miscellaneous is just miscellaneous stuff, hand tools, something might break and we need, something in the shop. Could be anything, a tool or a broom or things of that sort. Contract services, that's the cleaning crew that comes in and cleans the whole upstairs. And then some of that's for, I guess they use some of that for plumbing, if there's a plumbing issue or something like that too. Meter purchases, that is for new meters now. I can't tell you how many new meters we're gonna need next year, but it could go down because I think we're pretty good with meters.
yeah, I think this was because of the build time has been,
Yeah.
so, the lead time on meters is really
It's terrible.
significant.
So I think we'll probably still do meters in, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe. But so this is for new developments, new housing.
Or
Anytime,
replacement.
or replacement, something breaks, we gotta fix one. So these are just actually the meters like what you have on the outside of your house. Let's see.
701 and 702, those are what we have to pay to Eaton, which Eaton is the electric meter AMI system. We did reach out about the Eaton software that's hosted. I guess when we were discussing this project, there was something about if we could bring it on our own servers, then that would decrease the hosted software price. So I've reached out to find out about that, but no one's gotten back to me about it. So hoping to be able to decrease that number in the future at that 17.9. But those are just annual fees to Eaton for the meters themselves. Power purchase, we did our best to try to really capture that. You can see current year actuals 1.695, we have 1.83. We're most likely going to go over in that line. Eversource, who we pay for wheeling charges, continually increases their rates, so we've anticipated at least another 3% increase from them. To give you an idea, we roughly get billed about $16,000 just for wheeling charges. And then the power purchase from Vermont, we're estimating, we did an average of like $180,000 a month. So we think that 2.4 would be adequate. That be, yeah.
that Vermont contract, is that a minimum purchase? Because when you look at that, it's only about 1.1 billion.
So the contract, so we have a price per megawatt that we are obligated to pay a certain amount of kilowatt hours per month.
Right.
If we go under, the brokerage that we use, which is Vermont Public Power, will sell it back to the market and they'll credit us. If we go over, we have to pay the day rate. So day rate could be $70 a megawatt, it could be $74 a megawatt. So they try to structure those deals within their knowledge of how much usage we have each month and try to match that. But it's kind of it's a hit or miss, right? I don't know if that quite answers your question,
Yeah, well,
but that's my
looks like
knowledge of it.
So that 62 $8.90 a megawatt hour just for that contract amount. So anything above that, then we don't know what we're gonna get.
Exactly, yeah,
So that's kind of, we're worth quite a bit above that.
yeah.
At least.
Certain months. Yeah.
Certain months, so dead of winter, generally December, January, sometimes February, those are your hard months for winter. And then July and August can be hard for AC. So those are the months that we see that peak could go up. So you hope to make up the difference in those lower months that stay pretty flatline. But it is based on usage. So if we have higher usage, we're paying more money for it, right?
Does this impact the electric rates or just our, so we're gonna see some changes there?
Yeah.
When the rate study's
So
done.
the rate studies.
So we're working on a rate study right now with PLM. They do the electrical rate reviews for like Wolfboro. I think New Hampshire Co-op also uses them. So working with them, what they're going to do with this rate study is not only help us to revise our rates to what they need to be, if they need to be revised, but they're also going to give us all of the formulas in order to keep up on it. So as things change for us, we can keep up on that side of things. So we are hoping to hear back from them in the near future on what those rates will be. But yes, this does impact your rates, right? Because we have to purchase the power.
Who decides to change the rate? That's
The select.
you select them have to change the rate.
Yep, so the selectmen, whenever they change any fee structures, it has to go to a public hearing, but they are ultimately who gets to decide those rates.
If we had a local supplier of electricity, I'm thinking of Mill Pond Dam, Pico. So if we were to buy power from them when we are over our commitment, that would be an offset?
I'm not quantifying that question.
Well, we could buy it from them, so we need to meet our minimum.
We would be over 100% committed. So we have to purchase in our current contract from Vespa 100%. So if we were to get it from them, we would be
100%.
over 100% committed in power purchase.
So we have to buy it from them first.
Yeah, we have to buy it
Right.
from them. Right now, so Freudenberg's not running now, so we can't, we told Vermont Power that we were gonna, that includes so right now, we can't bill for, so we're not billing Freudenberg, they're only got the lights on now. So they're not using any power, but we didn't know Freudenberg was leaving.
Right, the three-phase.
So right now, we can't bill for that chunk, and they're gonna have to sell it in the market.
Right, so.
So we're on the back end of that, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna lose.
Right,
So we're not meeting our minimum requirement.
Right.
We're not redistributing our
But-
requirement.
they try to resell that on the market and
Right.
will credit
You get
us.
some credits that from that.
Right,
But you were saying in winter months or maybe in the middle of the summer, we use more electricity than the minimum requirement. Is that what you were saying?
But they
it
factor that
can
in,
be.
Charlie.
They try to set that schedule
They
based
have
off of what
historical
they
data
do.
with us.
Yeah, so those are, what I was saying was those are your heavier months, right? So when I use the average of $180,000 a month, you have to take into account that in some months, they're gonna be much lower, right? But those months that I named, December, January, February, and then July and August, those are the months with the most peak,
Okay.
right?
Then goes to be over 200,000.
But for the hydro, in the contract that you have, that hydro's not offsetting anything for
Even in the
us.
high, even in the high months.
Because it would be over 100% committed.
I see. So in other words, we're committed to Vespa whether we meet the minimum or not. Is that
That's
basically what you're saying?
what I've gotten out of my meeting with them.
The best for them is people wheel it over to Eversource or something.
Yeah, so,
Contracts to do that, and the only piece is what we make money on.
Yeah.
yeah.
So when this contract goes through when?
It's a 5-year contract, so I think 2020, 2030?
I think
2029, December 31st,
You
2029.
just signed it.
Yeah. It was just signed in October of last year, so.
I have 2029.
Yeah.
So Marissa, just a question about the financing, so that taxpayers can understand it.
Yeah.
The taxpayers understand that we were taking out a $2 million note. Then they understood, because they voted on it, they understood that we said the rates were gonna be in line with the competition. So my question here is, we knew that the increase was gonna be about 35% on the rate, because we've been talking about that since the summertime.
Yep.
But in this, where do I see some estimate of the loan repayment?
You won't.
Water and sewer.
We haven't issued it, it's not in repayment.
We haven't secured it yet.
Yeah.
Of course not, but I cannot sign off on a budget that I know we're gonna have some kind of loan payment on, when we don't even have anything.
The loan payment would not be included in there until you're in repayment. So, and it's not the taxpayers, it's
another
the
year or two
ratepayers that are affected,
We're not
so,
gonna pay anything on that loan in 2026?
no. So it's gonna be a drawdown. We're gonna draw down on that loan, and when it's issued, then we'll go into a repayment schedule with them, but you're not paying anything in 2026 on a bond that hasn't been issued. Just like Andrew's got a $6.2 million bond that was authorized by the town two years ago?
Might be as much as 2 years.
2 years ago, and we are not yet paying on it, so it's not going to appear in the budget. So if we're trying to put away money towards that, if that's what you're trying to get at, we would have to add that somewhere in the budget, but that's part of our discussion with the rate study, is that they know we have a $2.2 million bond that's gonna be authorized. So how do we have the rate set in order to be able to repay that? But the bond is not issued, so it's not going to appear in the budget.
I think, okay, I get that. I think I'm
Okay.
asking a much simpler question, right? So the taxpayers remember that they voted for a $2 million bond. Craig said that we're gonna have the substation repaired next summer. It's about a 5 or 6 month project, right?
Yep.
It should
So
be,
the
if
money
everything
to-
gets,
The money to pay for that work, is that coming from a bond, or is that coming from some account that we already have at electric? The money to do the work?
So the work that was authorized by the bond has not been issued through a bank yet.
I totally understand that.
There will be.
I'm
There will
asking
be.
like the more simple question of how's it gonna show up on this budget? You're doing the work next summer,
So-
in 2026.
Just like Andrews, where I was saying the engineering fees we have to pay from an account, but it goes into construction in progress, is because you've already authorized it. So at that point, it's gonna get charged in the system, but it's essentially gonna be there for you to know that it's there, and then it's gonna be added to the total project, because now you're adding asset value back in.
Construction loan.
Right.
I don't get No, okay, you've got, we can take it offline, but we're gonna have to explain to the taxpayers in really simple.
Because the project's going to be happening during this budget year.
No, Jen. I know it's
This
different.
project is gonna
But the
happen,
loan
start.
is not in repayment.
But the project is going to be started during this budget year, correct? So for you to start a project, you've got engineers, you got this and that, so there is money, even if it's not paid, it's gotta be encumbered.
No, so this is, the way that we're structuring this deal is so that the lender is going to pay the vendor directly. We are going to pay back what we borrowed from the lender.
Okay.
So the vendor that we are gonna use for the substation project, we are not gonna pay them directly.
Okay.
The lender's going to pay them
But then we gotta pay the lender.
when they issue us an amortization schedule. After that's already happened.
But, okay, this is where I'm confused. I understand you've got a cash flow thing when the money goes in and out, but you also have, whether the money's gone out or not, once you start the project and these people that are working on it, the town is on the hook for those expenses. So even though you're not paying the cash right then, shouldn't this be in this year? Because this is when the money is being expended that we're gonna have to pay back.
is not going to be expended from us in 2026. The vendor is going to do the work. The lender is going to pay the vendor directly. The lender is then going to say, in 2027, here's what your amortization schedule will be, here's what your bond payment will be, here's what your interest will be.
So we won't see any money on that until 27.
Most likely. We haven't issued the bond out yet. So there's no way for me to set a bond repayment schedule when it hasn't been issued. And typically you don't start repaying in the year that it's issued. You usually start paying after it's been issued. So like Andrew's $5 million project, we're gonna be in repayment for that in 27. It was issued in 2023. So 2023, we authorized $5 million and we won't start paying it until 2027.
And when did the actual project start?
Hasn't started yet.
Hasn't started yet.
Okay, you haven't started it yet, so you haven't expended by.
But we have expended because we've had engineering done.
Okay,
So that goes towards that bond that's been issued.
right.
So I'm not sure he started it in 23 with the engineering work. He just hasn't broken ground yet.
Right.
Okay, so there were expenses in 23
Yeah.
and aren't showing up anywhere.
They would be in the engineering fees, but 23's not taken care. We're in the 2026.
So there was engineering fees in 23,
Right?
and what were they paid for with?
I mean, that it's gonna be funds on hand, yeah.
Okay, well, okay, we were just talking about, it's like, if the project was approved in 2023, and they tell me there were engineering fees, but that wasn't paid out of the bond, it was, so maybe we can talk about it, just,
Well, the substation project is
Totally.
Right.
totally different. The engineer is part of the project,
okay.
so,
It's a total project cost.
Right.
I was just trying to relate this to that when you authorize doesn't mean that then you pay on it. It was authorized in 23, we're not paying on it yet, right?
Right, because you haven't spent the money.
But there's still work being done on that project. Like, I think we're going out to bid over the winter for a contractor. So there's still work being done on these projects, but we're not on a repayment schedule because we haven't actually issued the debt. The debt doesn't, for all intents and purposes, exist yet.
I guess that's like, looking for debt service and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't have a debt service schedule because we're not in an issued state yet with the bonds, or loan, I should say, loan. And again, with them paying the vendor directly, it's not gonna hit our bank until we pay the banks back.
So debt service would show up next year?
Right. And then it would be there every year after and,
so,
yeah, until it's repaid.
How much was that big?
But the good thing is that we're trying to work on a loan in the sense that we would only have to pay back what we borrow, right? So if the project comes in under 2.2, then we're only on the hook for whatever that project comes up to be.
the la-
We can
the
all
latest
do
is
that. If it's a
2.8.
$2 million project, it's a 5% interest, $100,000 on the balance, on the cash flow, just for the interest. So we need to be extremely careful not to say anything about rates not going up, because people are gonna have both, 35% increase in the power rate, which when you average it into this budget is an 18% increase in this budget. And then the following year, you're gonna add another $100,000, which is another 5%. So we just have to be really careful. There's a lot of money going into this electric that the ratepayers are gonna have to pay, which are the townspeople. So I just think we need to be careful.
Oh, I'm with you. I have
We all know
cautioned
this.
many people against saying anything about rates, but we won't know until we get our rate study back, right? We're putting it in the professionals' hands to make sure to either confirm the rates that are already in place or to make adjustments. But I'm not saying either way, because I don't have that answer yet.
When do you think you'll have that rate study back?
I don't know an answer on that. I did ask them. It sounded like they had been in a kind of an information gathering situation, and they seemed to indicate that they would be meeting during this week with each other to talk about where they're at and next steps. So I don't have an answer quite yet, but we're hoping within the next few weeks to have that information.
We probably would have had it by now, but there was security issues with them getting into the company that does our building. or the software or something?
So the meters, when I was talking about the hosted software, that's a location-based software, so they're not in Ashland, so they couldn't get into it, but we've rectified that situation.
Because they need to compile all the data from usage and everything else, so they finally got the numbers they needed.
What's the question?
Did it last time.
Is there a point in time where the rates get so high that it's not worth having an electric company?
I can't answer that question.
Well, wouldn't the software do, the software you're talking about, just support that? There's gotta be some type of exercise you can do, I would think, that would pretty
I don't
easily
have
give you that answer.
Yeah, I don't have a software for the electric department.
Well, Excel,
But that's what we're doing the rate study for, and what they're gonna do is provide us with their formulas so that we can maintain a rate moving forward. So I assume at that point you could do some exercises, but at this moment in time, I can't do that.
Well, there has been comparisons, if you go on the Ted Wolf portal, and it breaks out Eversource, Unitil, all of the local utilities in New Hampshire. Currently, we're the third cheapest utility
well,
right now.
I understand, I'm just saying,
But
there's probably a
where
point
you're-
in time where that's not the case.
Right, that's why we gotta keep track of where we're heading,
Right.
and where the other utilities are going to.
So there will be a comparison, so we'll be able to evaluate a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, just that we looked at that at the Economic Development Committee, and surprisingly, we were, that was our original assumption. What we found out is that the advantage to have our own substation and our own people to work was a considerable advantage in terms of the overall rate. For example, some people said, well, maybe we can, get an outside group to come in and take it over. Well, unfortunately, in order to take it over, they would have to, bring it up to spec. And the cost of that would be a surcharge to this town, not spread through their system. So when we began to look at, for them to repair the substation, for example, maybe new lines, et cetera, those charges would be extraordinary. And we were looking at,
I understand, but it's kind of like you mentioned looking at the bonds over a 10-year period, which makes perfect sense. The same would apply to the electrical. Maybe you did that, I don't know.
No, we did,
Yeah.
and just in the substation repair itself, okay, the next nearest quote that we got was close to $6 million because we weren't able to work with the contractor the way that we're doing because we have our own people and our own organization.
Yeah, so the answer is that you guys have looked at it.
Yeah, we've looked at it, and I can't predict 20 years out, but I mean, as far as the eye could see, we couldn't see any advantage in not having our own electrical department and substation, et cetera. It seems to be a very significant advantage, particularly as rates go up and costs go up, because we're doing our own work and offsetting a lot of that cost.
Our infrastructure is really good, other than the substation. The lines that go out through the town are pretty good shape. They're really good shape. We need more people to buy power from us.
Right.
And if we can get somebody to build more commercial development, and we can just collect a check, we'll be in much better shape. I'm not kidding. We need like a data center or a hotel or something to use a lot of power. Because our distribution center is gonna be good, it's gonna be perfect. We just need to start, on the substation, the wave crashed. We were riding the wave for all those years and just collected money.
Right.
Now we gotta put some money back into our substation. But the distribution system is very good. And we don't need to do much for that, except for change a few poles here and there, which is pretty cheap, actually. And if we can do that and get some more business in town, your rates will probably even go down, they could go down.
Thank you.
So I think we get enough for the the purchase. The hydro's gonna go away. We thought we might do something with our hydro's power station over there, but it turns out it was gonna cost us too much, so.
Didn't the Army Corps of Engineers defunct that thing?
Yeah, so
It's not.
we put some money into it thinking that we could bring it back online, but it's way too much money to do it. So that's gonna go back down to nothing. Electric equipment, that's like big transformers, you hear transformers pop all the time and things of that sort. So that's to keep our transformer inventory going. Streetlights, we didn't spend a lot this year because we didn't have much money, because we went over on that equipment line. So we didn't buy all the streetlights we should have. You'll notice there's a lot of streetlights out. We were trying to hold we had to get more money in, actually. So we expect to continue changing all of our metal halide bulbs out to LEDs in the next coming year. So we keep that line the same. But we should be able to get all of them changed to LED next year, which will save us money. Rental, we currently only own one bucket truck. The rest of the vehicle fleet is rented. So that's something we can't change. That's gonna continue to go on for the near future. The fuel line is actually the heat for the electric department. That is something that actually gets heated from downstairs, so when I have my heat at the Public Works Department, it heat rises. The only time their furnace runs really is when they open the bay doors. I don't know, we talked about cutting that line, but we didn't. So that's why we haven't used much line. That line's only $400, because it's usually heat rises, they don't need that. Their furnace doesn't come on unless the bay door is open, so we left that at the same.
They're gonna be a lot busier, so the trucks are gonna be coming and going more often.
Yeah, they are, that's right. So we left it the same. That's it. Any questions on this?
Great, could you just clarify, you went quickly, I know we're focusing on the budget for next year, the 4.1 million versus the 5, which is about 18% higher. Can you just explain how we got the 337 on the electric equipment line versus the budget of 100? Is that related to?
Well, that's,
That's the emergency repairs for the substation.
remember when we had the power?
That one bill.
That's that one bill we had, that cost that much to have that repaired. And that was the portable generator that came in that powered the town.
262,000.
Yeah, it was just destroying waste.
But I do remember when we went through this, he said there's enough money in the electric budget to pay for that bill without having to do anything else. So it looks like for only 6 weeks till the end of the year, it looks like we're gonna actually come in on budget.
Yeah.
For the year,
Yeah,
even with that.
that's right.
That's good news.
It is good news. And hopefully it doesn't happen again.
What's the revenue projection?
First, I might be able to help with that.
It's good.
We won't know that actually until the rate study's done. So once that rate study's done, we'll
Well,
lock
what
it
about
out.
for this fiscal year? 2025?
Sure.
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
we've been a lot, Ron, you want to talk about our collections efforts?
Yeah, so,
I'm gonna say, if you want to run it through the end of October, so we're not fully closed for connection.
Revenue. Oh, no, not Johnson, electric.
wanna go the 01 to 10?
Yeah.
Person. It's got revenue detail by account.
Don't get too excited over there.
I'm loving it. It's great.
And so they.
So, well, so, you want to speak to it?
Like great from here.
What?
Even the new prescription is okay, I made that. All right, so paid year to date, what is that, like second column?
3,034,502.06.
Yeah, so that's what we've collected as of the end of October, which is when we'd be fully posted by. That also includes, we did get a payout from the substation explosion.
It was an explosion.
At 262,000.
Yeah, so that's added into that figure there. We also have been far more strict with our collections in the utility department. There had been a deficit of about 130 plus thousand.
We were at 159,000 at one point,
Yeah.
and then
No, here.
we notified the ratepayers that they need to start getting caught up. I think the last report I got, I think we're at 34,000 of non-collect.
Yeah.
So it's getting a lot better.
Yeah. The utility girls have done a really great job of making every effort to collect everything and cleaning up arrearages. So to say how we're going to come in with revenue, I don't have that answer for you, but certainly if you want to reach out to me at the town office, I
Oh, I'm
can.
okay.
Yeah, it's,
Close
Okay.
enough, I could use that.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Are we, anybody have any more questions?
Any more questions?
What is that? Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. That's the last thing we have, right? We don't have,
Old business for selecting items.
did we do that first
Did you already do that?
at the beginning?
Wow. Just see if you do it again.
And we do not have a non-public?
We do not, no.
Excellent. So I will pick up, and she's in the position.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Correct.
7:21.
Recording stopped.
George.